Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night, Season 1, Episode 15, the finale of this season. Tonight we're going to be highlighting some scenes going on during a 2-week downtime that the Iconoclasts will be taking following the apprehension and delivery of Sebastian Moore to the hands of Baron Jameson. They were able to remove one threat to their domain, possibly even three, given that 3 people they had captured in their clutches, and are now trying to determine how they move forward. And tonight, we're going to be highlighting a few scenes happening over this downtime before we start Season 2, The Hunt. For now, let's get the thoughts of our coterie as we start into some of the things that they're going to be doing over this little period of time. Maria, you certainly have some plans for this little 2-week break that you're giving yourselves from really getting involved in really the rest of the political machinations of the city. Should they give you that kind of time anyway?
Well, one could hope. But yeah. Mostly end up spending some time trying to end up tracking down to some of the Canaanites I happen to end up knowing. Looking into Carnage, Sam. Sam's always been looking out for me. Day one, that's always been the case. But Carnage is the one that probably has more answers. Well, I think I'm starting to run out of questions. It's more me trying to find direction at this point. It's understandable when you're, let's just end up saying that I'm unsure on which way this is going to sway. And again, also met Sing Song not too long ago. Might end up sending a trip to them later. Right now, I just need to get situated. I'm still a little bit upset with the whole incident that happened at the church. Now I'm kind of just... You ever have the feeling like you can make things right, and that got stolen away from you? I feel that, but I feel more angry that they were taken away from me. I feel like I'm gonna need to end up finding some way to stop playing around, figure out myself what I'm capable of, as I'm starting to get some ideas. But I don't know who the heck I can ask about it. Maybe it's just a limited imagination. Who knows? Character defect, probably. Ever since I ended up talking to Father, things just ain't been right. Just keeping an eye on, I suppose. Thinking about my coterie. How this is gonna go from here.
How things go from here, indeed, is definitely something that you're gonna have to figure out, especially given those impulses on things that are yours taken away from you. Noel,
Yes.
you're going to be spending some time doing some studying, of course, as is kind of the job of someone with sorceress powers, but do you have other plans? Do you have other machinations?
Well, yeah. I have this thought in mind for creating something new, a new venture. Something that I think Faust will be interested in, that I pose to him, because we have a problem in this coterie. Well, we all have lots of problems in this coterie, let's be real. But we have a big glaring problem in this coterie. And that's, with the exception of Faust, we are dirt fucking poor. Like, dirt poor. And I don't think he has a lot of money to his name either. Also, Coffee, apparently I'm a little quiet. You know, turn me up a little.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna pose that to Faust because he's got the infrastructure to get it started. And I think after we get this started, that, well, if we all take a bit of a cut out of it, then I think that might be better for, well, all four of us. Wherever Ray got off to. I'm sure she's doing something, no doubt. But, no. I think he might like the idea that I've got in mind.
And then there's Faust, the man with the plan, as Venture usually are. What are you doing aside from recovering, which you've taken quite the brunt of the damage that was dealt at that park, trying to apprehend Sebastian Moore, and also took some pretty nasty mental hits too. How exhausted are you?
Quite. God. Honestly, I'm realizing how underprepared we were for something like this. And whether it was Jameson or this group themselves, it doesn't really matter. We didn't have the resources. Not entirely. We hardly have the resources now. I'm exacerbated. Completely worn dry. Physically, emotionally. Provided Sebastian Moore is appropriately now one beast all his own. I think more imperatively comes the next set of trials. We are acknowledged as having a position. There is rumors, there is placement now within the city. And I'm thinking we can bungee off of that. We can start building. We can create our own status. They won't like us. They don't have to, but again, as I have been saying, the city will respect us for what we can do. So let's start with resources. Getting that set up. Wait. There's a job ahead of us. But more specifically, there is a need to protect the masquerade, our footing, everything. I'm realizing more and more that every human being that we interact with really is under a similar curse as ours. The curse of knowing kindred. The curse of being involved with a kindred. It's like resigning yourself to either some form of fucked up servitude or death. Inexplicable kind. Gruesome kind. Beyond preserving the masquerade and beyond preserving the coterie settlement here in San Antonio, I'm concerned about conserving our humanity. What little there is left of it.
Some say that it is a downward spiral, and that once you start down that trek, it hardly stops. Each and every one of your sires, mullahs, mentors advised you to hang on to your moral compass, because that is the only thing keeping you from falling to the beast. At first, we're going to take a look at a specific day during this 2-week period in which, Faust, you went to your own mentor's haven. You've spent a couple of nights there before, but what do you intend to do tonight as the both of you are coming down to this little bunker somewhere in the middle of Baron Batista's domain?
I need to tell Wolford. I need to speak with him. I need guidance.
And you can hear him coming down the stairs of this bunker, and once he opens the door and closes it behind him, he has a newspaper under his arm and his briefcase in his hand. And when he turns around to see you, he's a little shocked to see you from the expression that you can see on him, though he doesn't necessarily put on that much of a face. But you've known this kindred long enough to know when he's not expected you. Good evening, Faust.
Good evening, Mr. Wolford. Do you happen to have some time tonight? I wanted to update you.
There's a little time before sunrise tonight. Yes, I should be fine. Are you intending to spend the day?
Not quite. I have other activities. My coterie mate has invited me for a speedy discussion later, but
Hmm. You said you wanted to do a bit of an update.
that's correct. Regarding, well, the events with the individuals.
And you see that he walks into the bunker towards towards the table and sets the briefcase and the newspaper on it.
Well, considering the circumstances, I'm not dead, so that's an indicator of the fact that we handled everything.
Yes. You don't look well, though.
It's been rough. Not even gonna lie. I remember being told that fire was bad. No one told me it hurt that much. I mean, it
Fire.
hurts. Funny story, that.
What in the world were you doing anywhere near fire?
Oh, trust me, I didn't want anything to do with it. Faust walks over and seats himself comfortably in one of the chairs. It's, you might want to take a seat for this one. It's a bit of a long story.
All right. And he goes over towards one of the chairs and sits down, kind of opening the button on his suit and crossing a leg, and then just kind of watches you.
You know, frankly, I'm finding more and more about what it takes to preserve the masquerade. It was definitely a learning experience.
It's an arduous job sometimes. Yes.
I'm kind of wishing that it was just a clear-cut path. There was an easy answer. I'm discovering that there's never an easy answer. What does it take to make one?
What does it take to make one? To preserve one's own masquerade is to say as little as possible. Do as little as possible.
That's what was done. And somehow it still escalated. Is so quick.
What happened, Faust?
We discovered a bug within our haven, our shared haven. And we tried to locate somehow, some way, the leads, the individual who might have planted it.
Yes, you
There's
said
only
something
one.
about a bug on your vehicle. Tracking device of some kind.
We were being watched.
Huh.
More specifically, I and Mr. Stoneford were being watched. And I thought coming out to San Antonio, I thought I covered my trail. Everything was wiped clean. And I suppose that was the problem. I was wiped clean and I'm still here. So,
How clean did you
Sebastian.
leave that trail in Dallas, Faust?
Clean enough that wasn't like I would be followed. Provided there's only a few select individuals who even knew I was gone.
Uh-huh.
This guy, Sebastian Moore, that's his name.
Hmm.
Caught on somehow. Thought I was a fraud.
Is he wrong?
Followed. Suppose not. He followed me here, along with a group of other select individuals. The problem was that he wasn't just some guy looking into a simple case of fraud. It was like something out of a movie or something. The guy was a vampire hunter, an FBI agent.
Hmm.
You ever heard of something called Project Daybreak?
Daybreak. Let's
Tried
see.
investigating. The whole coterie did, and we found something of a lead. Discovered Sebastian was originally from Detroit.
Detroit.
He told us in
Heard there were riots up there.
I guess there was more than riots. Riots covered something. Something big.
To be quite honest, I hadn't dug
guess it
into it
covered-
nearly as much as I probably should have with the move and everything. It's been concentrating on establishing myself, but if that's something that we need to look into, Faust, then certainly we can. But you said he was from Detroit. Is that not the case anymore?
Came into Dallas, picked up on me, followed me here. He was part of the operation. That Daybreak event. And, we were speaking with a refugee from that whole event. They knew. They know about us. They don't know everything. But they did know about us. They did experiments and I'm not entirely sure.
This refugee, did they give you any information to go on in that regard? What it is they do know?
I didn't receive wind about what it is, what happened with that whole event. How it ended. The individual themselves is laying low. Quiet as a mouse. She's, well taken care of at the moment.
That's good to hear. And you dealt with more.
To the best of my abilities.
Is that the man that you were saying that you were having troubles deciding whether or not you wanted to end him?
He was too close for comfort, and now I know why.
And did you?
I did. But we needed more information out of him. He's a tough nut to crack. I'll give him that.
FBI usually are. From my understanding, anyway.
I wasn't equipped. Mr. Wolford. I did something bad.
Faust.
We had to know if there were more. We had to know if the city was overrun. We can't take that risk. We can't risk some human organization revealing everything. So we took them all out. This whole party. There was this girl. She didn't know anything better. She's just a fucking kid. We made her part of the fucking wall.
Faustus, you have your head down. You feel that he sits next to you and just kind of wraps his arms around you.
And I had to get more information out of more. We had to. We couldn't risk it. We couldn't risk Masquerade. So I made him one of us. You fucking tore them apart. I'm not saying the girl would have lived a good life. I'm not saying she would have lived a free life, but she still could have fucking lived. I don't know if it's any better. You tore him to fucking bits. They suffered. Wolfers. I can't.
I'm so sorry, Faust. And he just kind of strokes your hair and holds you close.
I know I need to do better. It's like, no matter what we fucking touch, we ruin it. There's no manual. And Faust looks at him in the eyes, and there's no fucking manual on harm reduction. I mean, your entire existence is designed to kill.
Yes, it is.
I thought I had it so fucking easy. I thought if we just played it cool, pretended, laid low, everything would work out fine, but when it comes to humans, when it comes to mortals, when it comes to fucking people, we can't reasonably interact with them without having to realize that inevitably we will be the death of them. It's just a matter of when. There's hardly a how.
Yes, our existence is predicated on the harming of individuals. And I'm sorry that that was such a rough learning experience for you, Faust.
I can't let it happen again. Not like that. Nothing like that. I barely have an idea of where I can start, but I don't.
I'm here to guide you. You're not the only one starting over from scratch, Faust. I've done the starting over from scratch several times. I've basically become accustomed to it at this point.
How do you stop it?
Stop what exactly?
Just destroying people, things, from your own problems, your own curse, bleeding out onto everyone else. You
Well,
stop it.
the only way to truly stop it is to truly isolate yourself, but then what do you do about your hunger? Because that is a bigger beast. You keep a reasonable distance, but you ultimately need to interact with them, Faust. They're everything. The blood is everything.
I rest
But-
my head on his shoulder.
The only thing you can try to do to mitigate it is not to overexert yourself. And you're going to need to in the shape that you're in.
I can't help but feel like we completely missed the mark. I feel like I did.
And it happens from time to time.
What's the sacrifice worth it?
That's the
Yes.
question you have to ask yourself every time.
I'm getting that. Yeah, we saved the masquerade. As best as we can. As best as this tiny little coterie can manage. Of misfits. Fuck-ups and outcasts.
What did you end up calling yourselves? The Iconoclasts?
We did. Made sense. Hate us for what we are. We'll prove you better. You can stay hating. But we need the longer I'm here with this coterie, the more we need to ground ourselves. It's anytime something comes up, the only thing we seem to know how to do is escalate the situation. I'm trying to find a workaround from this. I don't know how.
Slow and steady wins the race. One piece at a time. You can only really progress if you have each and every brick in exactly the right place, because if you try to build a wall without the mortar drying first, it's not going to stay. If you don't have solid mortar, you don't have solid walls. Or don't allow the roots to grow, you don't have a solid tree. Takes time, Faust. And I know that that is something that you have struggled with quite a lot, being as young in years as you are. In total.
In total.
You still have been a mid-immortal longer than you had been a kindred. I suppose that impatience is going to stay with you.
I hope not. I cannot but feel like it's part of my own failings right now.
Be patient with the things that you accomplish. Don't try to rush, because if you try to rush, it'll escalate. It'll draw unwanted eyes. That is something that I suffered in my youth. I was just as impatient as you were when I was young.
get so bad.
Nearly.
Nearly.
There was one point in which, when I was young, I was in a coterie with a Nosferatu. Hot-headed young fellow. Always seemed to want to rush into things, and for a bit of time, I agreed with him. But then we continued to get noticed by other members of the court, and not in the good way. It took me a long time to grow out of that. And this Nosferatu fellow also grew out of that same impatience. So far as I know, he's still thriving back in Dallas.
That's what? I guess it doesn't matter.
I don't exactly recall what his job is currently. I've been so disconnected. A lot of expectations being a cousin to Prince Warsey.
Terrifying.
That it is.
How can I be strong? This coterie. What can I do?
Well, first things first on every kindred's mind is how well fed is everyone. If you don't have that under control, then you don't have anything under control. And you won't last long if you're hungry. Someone or something will come and fix that issue in a heartbeat. If we had heartbeats anymore.
Ray was saying the same thing.
Sounds like she was a very wise individual.
She is. She can really handle herself in ways that I can't.
Possibly because she knows what it is she needs to do in order to make sure that she is in a good place for all of you.
I want to meet her halfway on that.
Then that's where I would start. Get your food issue under control. It's not exactly the most pristine of living conditions given the neighborhood that you live in. And from what I hear, shootouts and things, well, that's gonna make people antsy.
Oh. Funny story about that.
Is that why you look like you need more than just a new suit?
Also why I discovered how bad fire hurts.
Full of learning experiences.
Yet, somehow, I didn't... Something came over me and I thought I could hear inside me screaming, clawing to get out of this situation. I didn't panic.
Yes, the beast panics at sunlight and fire and just about any other threat.
But I didn't. That's the first time that happened.
You stood your ground.
I mean, I don't exactly make a hobby of taking off my shirt just about bare in the public park, but nor do I make a hobby of self-immolation. That's
You set yourself on fire.
just about damn well did. Moore had something. It was a weapon. Fired these bullets like fireworks. I just... I'd never seen anything like that quite. Maybe, out in the shooting range there was some pretty interesting guns, but nothing that just blew us up like a flamethrower.
That sounds like a very terrible time.
Felt like a dirigible. Mr. Wilford. I know what I need to do in order to help my coterie getting resources. My coterie mates made a really interesting proposal over the week. I was into data mining some time ago.
Data mining.
It was before Eugene embraced me, the active.
I see.
Getting over the internet an encrypted currency.
Well, I thought the stock market was weird.
Stock market makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Cryptocurrency takes equipment that thinks a lot more than...
It's a bunch of computer stuff.
Yeah. I have the facility for it, but I need...
And is that going to draw in people?
If we play it safe, keep the facilities under wraps, just certain IP services, have equipment to ensure that there is bouncing encryption. He just starts going into this little thought process about it.
And you just see that
Really
Mr. Werford just kind of furrows his brow and cocks his head sometimes. You get the sense that he has a tech guy that does all of that stuff for him. It's not exactly well versed in it himself.
It's when it comes down to it, if you have the right equipment, the process can be as secure as cash. More secure, even. It's untraceable.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Again, is that to secure a food source? Is that just money? Capital?
Capital in general is what it would ultimate. We could invest it in securing the facilities, creating a proper masquerade. One that people can't follow us up on. One that I can't be traced back. Along with that, we bring in funding which would ultimately reach people my particular tastes and interests start coming in.
That's kind of the important part of that whole operation, don't you think?
Hopes of it. I've been thinking the long plan is even if the neighborhood is small, maybe I could make it something big. Something secure. We'll have the resources all tightly sealed. Divvy them out. Only when it's owed. Only when it's earned.
Well, I certainly wish you luck. I feel as if you're going to need it.
We'll see. But, Mr. Wolford.
Yes.
It's quite the favor to ask. May I request an investment?
An investment? I see. Simply a financial loan? Or are you going to need, and he kind of just looks you over again, blood as well.
What I'm going to need is loan for the equipment. Mr. Stoneford is going to help set up my office. Offices. I'm going to be working towards making sure that we can make this sort of investment. Coincidentally, such a secure and encrypted method of gaining capital, it's remarkably lucrative.
What kind of payback period are you talking about?
Might take us a few weeks to gather it.
A few weeks?
It's easily in the time.
How much do you need?
Faust thinks about it. He considers what kind of equipment would be needed. And he states, out of character, I personally don't know.
So, I can help with this. As far as that goes, you're looking for specific mining GPUs. The software is easy; it's all just hardware, and in that case, you're looking at... If you're looking to get an entire office of computers set up with the existing infrastructure and the upgrades, probably, definitely in the tens of thousands of dollars, but not breaking 6 figures. If you're looking to just get it set up all new with with extra server equipment and everything, you're looking at high 5 figures, like 70, 80 grand. Nothing that wouldn't be fetched by like a Resources 3, Resources 4. Resources 4 would probably be pocket change.
We're looking at older equipment, basically things that just run for now. Things that work. Things that will keep us secure.
Yeah, you'd still be looking at 5 figures for multiple setups. If you just wanted like a single terminal doing it, then you could do that for a few hundred. But I imagine that probably looking to get a small farm setup of maybe 5 to 10 terminals hooked up to a server.
And when Faust kind of explains the finances about it, Mr. Wolford kind of thinks for a moment. Couple tens of thousands. I don't exactly have that kind of resources. I can maybe help you do something small, but I don't exactly have the pull or the finances. I'm in just the same boat as you. I'm barely above a working wage.
We're both doing excellently then.
Given some time, I might be able to procure, or at least, for the moment, I'd be able to help you start something small. I can possibly loan you 5,000.
Faust thinks about it. Likely maybe one terminal, if anything.
Oh no, that'd set up like 2 to 3 terminals and a dedicated server rack for it. So that's actually pretty good.
All right.
You did
Faust
say it was
nods.
lucrative, and so for that, I expect a turnaround of a month.
Easy. Done. I actually used to do this before, getting involved with Eugene. It's probably part of the reason he liked me.
And you kind of miss it, I bet.
It was what I was good at. It's what got me out of my situation.
That will, however, tie me up financially. I'm not going to be able to put more into anything aside from that, so how about we call it payback with interest and a minor boon?
Consider it done.
Then we have a deal.
And Faust puts out his hand.
And Alistair takes your hand and shakes it.
I won't let you down.
You could never let me down, Faust. Your family, after all.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing exciting news.
hopefully less exciting than it has been the past week.
Possibly more financially exciting news.
I'll make it happen. I know precisely how I can. And that is where I'm good to end this.
Okay. We're going to switch over to a little place called China Grove, where Maria knows that a certain individual named Samantha Jefferson lives. She takes care of this little portion of Marjani's domain and has been entrusted to do so.
Well, one can hope anyway.
She hasn't really
No.
complained much about the domain itself, so perhaps she does really well here. It's also the place where you roomed with her during the early portion of your stay in San Antonio so far. As a kindred,
It
anyway.
would be sad to say that I kind of miss it.
One. Possibly, because there's a little piece of your grave that she helped you dig up that helped you sleep better here.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I was needing the help. She ended up spending time with not much more than gardening trowel and trash bag. Currently making my way up to her place. Hopefully she's home. The door quick knock.
Before too long, you do see that bushy curls and the blazer that she wears and a nice t-shirt underneath. Oh, hi.
Hey, Sammy.
How you been?
Been better than worse. Might I come in?
Of course. And she kind of gestures for you to come into the house.
I step in. Should take my shoes off. All the kindly amenities.
Do you want something to drink?
No. If you got something, I'm not gonna say no.
Well, we can go for a walk if you want.
Nah. Bill, I think I just need to spend some time. Just away right now.
Why, what's going on?
It's not what's going on, it's what's been going down.
Hmm.
Yeah, did Baron Jameson say anything yet?
Yeah, He went to the the Elysium, if as far as I recall, and told the other barons about Moore, I think his name was. And that, as far as I understand, that we're supposed to be on the lookout for people who might be looking into things a little too aggressively. The whole city might be on high alert at this point.
Well, we got mixed up in the middle of all that.
That's right, you did say something about a listening device, right?
Yeah. So we found out about it.
Mm.
Now, I don't know. Guess you might say that things just kind of went sideways at this point.
I've
A lot
heard.
of people died.
I'm sorry.
I already made my prayers and said my goodbyes, but for the briefest moment, I thought I'd be able to save. I get the son of a bitch more, but some of them were just in over their heads. Thought I might be able to bring something out of it. Instead, I was left with not much more than a couple extra holes dug in the backyard.
I'm sorry. That's rough.
I've been doing a lot of thinking.
Mhm.
I've been doing a lot of thinking. One of the things I've been kind of going on about, considering real careful, like I'm trying to end up putting together a herd.
That's smart.
Not the way I think most do it, though.
Oh.
Uh, I learned something not too long ago
Mm-hmm.
that I can do to others what I do to myself. But I'm not sure on how far that's gonna go, or what I can do with it. But I need to find out. Already started on animals. Some of them are mixed results.
I mean, you're free to make your own choices.
Well, that's just it. For me to really get at this, I need one of two things, and one of which I don't think I'm gonna get anytime in the near future. The other has me thinking. Everybody keeps a herd around, but they're playing around, right? They're out and about. But what if you can make them do more? What if they can be more than just a eyes, ears, and occasional lunch.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have those you regularly go to kind of pay you back in many different ways. So you're very familiar, right, with the fact that I have suitors over.
Yeah. Regular Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, the ones that I generally keep around are also ones who can inform me as to what exactly is going on around here. And while it's best that they don't get too involved, otherwise I'd be short a food supply source. Um, it's best not to get them too involved, because otherwise you're going to go without if something were to happen to them.
Yeah.
Kind of don't work in the same place
What
that you
if-
eat.
Yeah. But I need it. I need something. Blood, practice, and money. Those are the three things I need, right?
Well, blood is kind of the most important thing, because without it, nothing else is going to be all that effective. I mean, I don't necessarily suffer from the same fact of having that beast voice. I can understand that can be incredibly taxing on those who do. But that doesn't mean I don't go hungry.
I know. But Sammy, this coterie's gonna get involved in some serious stuff.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's a feeling, you know? It's something I feel in my bones.
I've heard of kindred who can see the future. You're not experiencing that, are you?
No. Nothing like that. Call. My pappy used to tell me that he knew when it was gonna thunder. Kid, I was scared out of my mind of thunder. I don't know, could deal with lightning, but thunder.
Yeah, we get some pretty bad thunderstorms here in San Antonio.
I don't know. But he used to tell me when I didn't have nothing to worry about when it started to rain. Tell me exactly when. Because his knee would start bouncing up and down the second it started getting, I don't know why, but he just knew when. He knew when it was going to end.
Because he could feel it in his bones.
I think I have that same feeling.
My grandma was the same way.
So right now, I gotta start putting away for a rainy day. What that means is more hurt, more money, a better handle on all this.
It's never a bad thing.
Sam, I've done it to 3 people so far. 2 of them didn't make it out. More toward the throat out of 2 of them.
Oh, God.
Last one is Pretty Little Thing. Spruced her up. But right now, I'm trying to end up weighing in other options. She's my eyes and ears right now. The only thing I really got going, but I need to find something more. I need to start I need to find people who won't be missed. I don't need people who are alone. I need people who are disconnected.
And do you want help with that?
Can use a direction, very least. Sam ain't gonna be pretty, but what I do ain't gonna be pretty. But if I don't get a handle on what this is, what I am, it is taxing, Sammy. It is really, really taxing. I need to be sure that when everything comes up,
That you're ready for it.
yeah. I already started putting feelers out. I already got something started. Right now, the only edge I have is the fact that I seem to be really good at what I do, even if I don't understand it. I need to figure out where this goes, Sammy.
Yeah, I get that. So, you need people. Much like anyone else of us.
Yeah, but I need people who won't be missed. When you have a client over, they can go home and they feel a little weird and wheezy and blame that on your evening activities, and a few days later, they're right as rain.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
But when somebody's coming to me, they won't be coming back. And I need
Then
my own safe.
Then where you probably should start looking is at the homeless. I don't know that there's very many in Gardendale, but I do know that there are a lot of people coming to this domain in general, Jameson's domain, because there's some housing development projects going on up north, and from what I understand, they're getting moved. Any of the homeless population up there are getting moved, either arrested or all of them are migrating down here. Southside is like that.
I think we might need to end up starting to look into it.
I probably can blame that on Baron von Sventkels-Altenberg, Toreador.
You think she's purposely driving them out?
Toreador can't stand the fact that things are ugly.
Well, they do say one man's trash is another man's treasure.
I suppose that's one way to look at it.
Anyone else giving them a second look? I'll have to worry about stepping on any toes if they suddenly end up wandering in my neck of the woods and go missing.
I would say be careful going anywhere near the You know the domain portion where the Lone Star pub is?
Right.
I know that. I know that Jameson would probably find it pretty peculiar if people started going missing in his section.
I'm not here to steal from no one. I'm just picking up what everybody threw away. I think I might have some. Appreciate the talk, Sammy.
Yeah, I'm always here if you need me.
I'd like to end up performing an insight check.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy. Not to say I'm particularly good at it, but yeah, I guess I'm a little better than most.
What are you trying to determine?
She's being kind of open, but I'm wondering if it's more than just a pleasantry.
Seems like normal, really.
I try and force a little bit of a smile. Sammy, I'll definitely take you up on it.
Like I said,
Hopefully,
if things start to get, a little too hairy, then we have an out.
yeah.
Not that it's a good one, but
I want to make sure that don't happen. Sammy, you already covered me far too long. I think it's about time I end up doing the same for you.
I kind of think of you like a sister. Something were to ever happen to you, I would be beside myself.
Well, give me enough time, I can make that happen.
Oh God, I don't know that I'd. That'd be weird.
I can make it weirder.
I don't doubt it.
I think I'm gonna take you up on that. I gotta meet with somebody Marjani didn't want me speaking to him.
Marjani doesn't necessarily say much about many people, but she does not like carnage.
Yeah, well, I got the coterie, I got you, and I got Connor. And I'm not about to end up cutting off my own arm in order to make Marjani feel a little bit more comfortable.
Oh no, make her feel uncomfortable all you like.
Care to join me for a night hunt? See if we can spot any of those wayward traps.
I would be delighted. And she ushers you towards the door to leave the building.
Alright.
On another night, though, you do get in contact with Carnage, and he does say that he can meet you at the usual meeting place.
I definitely like that.
Are you looking to meet him at the park, then?
Yeah.
Okay. By now, the commotion around the park has settled down, and the it's no longer a crime scene, which is nice. But you have noticed over the last few days that people have been decidedly not venturing out into the dark much over the last few weeks, or last few days actually, in that people have started barring up their houses again. You hear that Alana was mugged at one point during an altercation that week, and the shooting at the park has definitely got people on edge about even going outside anymore. Perhaps something to do with too much commotion and a lot more police presence going on around here. People don't want to get involved in anything. But he does meet you here in this place. Just sitting on a bench as you're walking towards the park itself.
Walk up to him. Hey, Uncle.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too good, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Kind of just plop myself. No, you're not. Me having a rough time makes things interesting for you.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah. Kind of take a quick look around, making sure no one else can hear into our conversation that shouldn't be hearing it.
So far as you can tell, there's hardly anyone else here. Park should be
Good.
closed for all intents and purposes.
That's fantastic. Kind of stretch out.
He kind of casually leans back in the bench too. So, you said something about things being weird, or what exactly is going on?
You hear much about what was going on in this park not too long ago?
I heard the gunshots. I heard about the gunshots. And, decided to keep my head low. Because,
Smart move.
well, you did tell me, you did warn me that, Jameson was looking for people who were doing sneaky stuff. So,
Yeah.
I decided to keep my head out of
And we
it.
found them.
You did?
Found somebody doing sneaky stuff. And they decided to end up shooting Faust with bullets that caused him to light up like a Roman candle.
Oof. That's nasty. Is he
He's
okay?
talking about,
He light up?
I realized that the individual was FBI.
Well, shit.
Goes by the name Moore. And he pissed me off something fierce, I'll tell you that.
I don't doubt it.
Well, he's the one who ended up putting the bug in my place.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that sometime.
Yeah. He put the bug in my place. And not only that, but after we got him and his two lovely compatriots, well, I put them down in the basement, and well, it's not like I carry handcuffs around, so I put them into the wall,
Oh.
literally.
Oh.
Yeah. Figured that'd be enough to tie him down, but even when he was bound up, he decided that rather than risk them talking, or me getting my hands on him any further, he'd rip out their throats with his bare teeth.
Yikes.
Killed his two compatriots right then and there. That's me trying to be cordial.
That's ballsy. Can't say I blame him.
Part I can't wrap around on my own was one of them was just in over their head.
I see. In what kind of fashion do you think?
Attack. She wasn't built for action. She probably never spent a day on the farm or anything like that. I think she was born and bred with a computer screen. So when I come around, she's scared witless. Now she's part of the wall. I was thinking, maybe for once everybody doesn't need to die. Maybe, with enough time, might be able to do something with it. Be able to, I don't know.
Food source at
Live
the
a
very
quiet
least.
life. Yeah. Food source, quiet life. It's not like I can't make her a new identity on a whim. Yeah, I found that one out.
Well, you could always change her appearance. I mean, I've seen...
Not anymore, she's dead.
Oh, that sucks.
Moore's the one who tore her throat out.
Right, you did say that.
So now, after having the opportunity for food source, figuring out what I can really do, start getting more comfortable with it, and maybe be able to actually find some way. I'm not gonna call it good, but at least try and end up balancing the books in some measure.
Schlachter.
Whole thing got what?
Schlachter. That's what Veronica used to call him.
Well, I'm not sure I follow.
That's what they're called. The like blood dolls you make, or the infantry, or whatever it is that you turn your humans into. Schlachter. Some of them are so screwed up in the head that they don't know their ass from their elbows, but some of them can be pretty useful, and it depends on what you want them for.
Well, I guess I never stopped in considering it all. Honestly, Carnage, I'm fumbling in the dark here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not exactly a teacher of such things, and I wish I was.
I
in this
understand
case.
that, but what was Veronica's deal then?
Veronica's whole deal was she was more of a master of her crafting herself into something vicious. Woman was terrifying when she wanted to be, and I liked that about her. Well, liked that about her. She's
You're
not.
still fond of her from time to time, don't you? Kind of like an ex-girlfriend.
I suppose, in a way like she's my sister. I would have done anything for her. But then she had to go and change her ideals. She made her choices. I've made mine. She's a free kindred. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Fair enough. It's starting to remind me of someone.
Oh?
Not important. Let's
Alright.
just say that if I ever end up spending enough time in a range, she'd end up throwing a near 45 in my hand with no questions asked. Getting the impression that my sire was that kind of person.
She was definitely about getting shit done. If we, for instance, needed to go on a raid, she would make sure that we had the personnel to do it. And I would make sure that everybody was up to speed on what it is our goal was. And Dredge, well, he liked to get his hands dirty. He's very personal about getting the job done, if you know what I mean.
Kind of like you.
Yeah. We were all kind of like that.
So, I'm gonna ask a question I know I shouldn't be asking.
But you're a free kindred. You can do what you want.
You don't like Marjani?
No.
And if I'm being fully honest, I am tired of being scared of what her opinion is of me every 2 seconds. I'd like to end up being able to take that off the table.
Ooh. I like what you're putting down.
I'm not looking to rattle the boat none too much, but it was made clear, according to Ray, that it was up to us to end up settling this piece of domain. So how do I make sure that I lock it down? That nobody wants to come in. Nobody wants to try and take it.
Okay.
That's what you did, right? When you guys first came in here, the Sabat rolled in. And once you guys get in, you dig in like a tick. Alright? No, and then kind of builds from there. That's what I'm getting.
Generally speaking. That's,
Okay, how do I do that quiet?
like I said, Schlachta. They're your eyes, your ears, and your infantry. If you can establish something that's... Because she was definitely the kind to kind of root herself in and not really move unless we had to. She was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So, what you need is a blood source, first and foremost. Without it, you're taxing yourself way too much. I definitely went on plenty of multi-feed nights with Veronica because it was taking that much effort to build what she needed. That's the first step. Once you got a steady food source, the rest of it's easy as pie, really.
What it is that Baron Altenberg
Name I can't
Starting to
pronounce.
end up- Good. I feel like I'm the only one who can't. Altenberg wants to end up clearing out her neighborhood. Yeah, from Faust, it's gentrification.
Ooh.
Me, I'm looking at it and I see a lot of people who have no place to go. I think I need to find a way to feed a lot of hungry mouths. I think
It's an
a
opportunity.
lot of... I need to know if somebody else knows that opportunity, though. Somebody else is thinking it.
Yeah, the homeless tend to be, closely
Easy
monitored.
pickings.
Well, closely monitored by the, Nosferatu as well. Feed enough of somebody who's got nowhere to go. I mean, easy targets and all that.
Yeah. I think I might end up doing it. But I'm gonna need... I need somebody who's seen it done before. You can't tell me what... You can't show me how to do it, but you can at least give me some signposts, right?
Yeah.
These, Schlachta, like, what kinds... What do you do with them? How do you not make it obvious that you just turned, somebody's hands and talons? How do you not have, like, 15 knives gouging out of their head to keep an eye on them?
Still make them look rather normal. Although, sometimes it gets a little fun to get crafty. At least according to how Veronica tells it.
What'd you see?
I've seen some really weird shit. Mostly, she would do that kind of thing to herself. She wasn't exactly the most, Well, she did a little bit of both, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. She was always very subtle, though. Always very subtle with the changes that she made, and just kind of little things. If you need somebody who needs to have better eyesight, then they can maybe take a little off of their likability and give them something to the equivalent of hawk eyes or whatever. That kind of thing. You need somebody who's gonna... If you're really looking for somebody who's gonna rough somebody up, though, you want strong people.
Yeah.
Ones that already have the predisposition to be strong, anyway. Crafting and throwing people into the wall is all well and good for, like, blood dolls and shit like that. But, if you want mobile people, then, kind of give them a specific job. What they're supposed to do. And they'll do it for you, because they're gonna be blood bonded to you.
I think I get the idea. So, I guess here's the question. Why do I have a feeling like I'm not being told the whole story right now?
What do you
You
mean?
never lied to me, Carnage.
No, I'm a terrible liar.
I know.
But
Maybe I'm getting paranoid,
it's never a bad thing.
but they kept me around. Because Thin Blood said so. mean, I don't know much from nothing, but I don't know, maybe there's something going on there, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I didn't. All likelihood I should be dead. Long and buried, and as soon as I came out of the ground, they should have put me right back in.
But they didn't.
Right? I don't know.
You said because of Thin Blood said so.
Mahjani's kid, if you believe it.
Does she need to disappear?
Nah. Anybody touches her, and I'm gonna end up putting them first on the chopping block, and I will end up.
Alright, understood.
Mahjani's kids. Sammy's been good to. Hell. As far as. You're my uncle, she's my sister.
Hmm.
You can appreciate that at the very least.
Then I will respect the relationship accordingly.
I don't know. Been trying to talk to God a lot lately. Hell, I ended up going to church a couple of nights ago.
Did it help?
I'm not sure. I guess it's because I'm more scared of what I'm not feeling. What I'm not thinking anymore. And I can see myself in the mirror and I'm starting to go. So that's a part of you losing a piece of yourself. I can test, I definitely lost something. You would have talked to me, first thing I would have ended up saying was we need to end up getting, how do we get donations in for these homeless, trying to end up finding a way to end up helping them out. I was good at organizing at one time. Now I'm just trying to end up thinking, how do I justify using them like as though they were a couple hot pockets you just throw in a microwave, or
But that's
frog you put on a dissection table.
That's what they are.
The fact
They're
I'm thinking
food.
it like that is what worries me, Carnage.
Aren't you worried that it's holding you back? You can never really truly explore your true potential, Maria. You are free, Kindred. You are free to do as you please. I'm not going to stop you from doing anything that it is that you want to do. But understand, you are a monster. A monster I care deeply about. I want you to be the best you that you can be.
You just don't want me turning into another Veronica, though.
I don't. She was manipulated. Just as I've known several people to be manipulated, because that's the power of Kindred. They can alter your brain if they're powerful enough. Make you think what they want. Make you do what they want. Especially if they start blood bonding you. And it's not the Anarch way, and that's something that I can legitimately, kudos to them. Often blood bonding is frowned upon. At least under kindred, anyway. But the Camarilla, no, they'll blood bond you. They'll get all up in your head and make you think what they want you to think, make you do what they want you to do, and you don't get to say anything about it. You have no choice in that regard, and that's why I hate the Camarilla, and that is why I hate Veronica. She turned Cammy. I can't abide that. I can't in good conscience abide that. Just as I can't abide the woman who took my child.
Don't think you ever mentioned you had one.
His name's Benji. He's a good kid. Was definitely very, very close to reaching his potential, but he got snatched away. Well, I originally thought he was going to be left out to the sun, because that's what the Cammies do.
But instead,
I found out that he's here.
in San Antonio.
Yep.
You touch base with him?
He doesn't remember a goddamn thing. This is what she did to him.
Who is she? You don't mind me asking.
Isabella Castile.
Billy Steele.
Ventru.
Don't ring a bell.
She's in Von Zualtenberg's domain.
I'll keep that in mind.
I would never do anything to hurt Benji. I would not shed a single tear if Castile went up in flames.
Which one's more important?
That's what I'm trying to decide. Been spending a year trying to decide that.
Guess someday I'm gonna have to meet my long-lost cousin.
He's got a short temper.
That's fine.
Last I
Guess I
heard,
just-
he was hanging out with the coterie called the Host.
That's up north, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard about them. Not too long ago, actually. It's got things a lot more complicated.
not that I'm asking you to do anything about it.
I'm not offering to do anything about it. I'm just getting an understanding of the situation. Once I end up doing that, then I'm gonna end up seeing where fate takes me. And if by chance me and this cousin Benji happen to cross paths, I can at least know what's on the up and up. And if by chance Castile happens to be standing underneath a free hanging piano and rope happens to come undone, well, at the very least I know not to end up jumping in the way.
Like something out of a cartoon. That would be kind of funny.
So, she kind of starts to stand up.
He stands with you.
You know, I won't let him know, but you ain't as bad as everybody makes you out to be, Connor. I'm sure that if I caught you on the wrong day, I'd be thinking quite differently, but
Quite possibly. I have bad days sometimes. But I try to keep that under wraps.
I hope you get to teach me a little bit more. If I find someone who I can play around with, maybe you can give me a few pointers from what you've seen.
I can probably do you one better. I can probably draw something for you. Stir the imagination.
You draw?
Yeah, it's been a little while, but yeah.
Okay, this I want to see. Next time we talk, I want a whole stack of papers.
Alright. I've got a vivid imagination, honey.
Looking forward to it, Uncle.
And he kind of comes in close and then kind of gently kisses you on the forehead. You be good.
Yeah, not too good, I imagine.
Now, have fun, but be good.
You take care of yourself now, Uncle.
You too. Sweet cheeks. Kind of pinches you on the cheek and starts to turn to walk away.
She kind of rolls her eyes. Starts to walk down the path. She's got to heavily consider. Is she really gonna pull this off? Food, shelter, logistics. This is just like organizing a barbecue, just a little bit more permanent.
And with that, I believe we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to see what Noel may be up to during this time when he gets together with Faust to put together this little cryptocurrency mining operation. We'll be back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath, the season finale of the first season of this chronicle. Noel has collected himself and Faust to go to a little call center called Parvenu Network Solutions, where Faust has set himself up as the boss? Question mark? I don't think anyone in the call center really knows for sure, but it seems that this particular person has a lot of pull in this particular building, and as such, their little data mining gig, as it were, is being physically set up by Noel and Faust as they kind of discuss the ins and outs of the situation and perhaps maybe even get a little personal. They're in the server room in the basement of this particular establishment and are setting up new racks, plugging in new machines, and all of the other technical things that go on when it comes to data mining.
We're making virtual quiz with computers.
And both seem to be fairly excited about this.
You know, I guess it makes sense considering you seem to know a lot about just about everything. Always. But just my luck. This is something we can both touch base on.
I'd like to think of myself as a bit of a jack of all trades, master of maybe one or two.
But
But-
go ahead.
I suppose it's not not ignoble thing to want to become a polybius, as it were.
I mean, it's definitely been useful. We're out of leads. Talk to Noel.
I mean, as I said, I like to think of myself as somewhat useful, all things considered.
So what is this idea entirely? Yeah, look at this office. Got a couple night shift workers, select variety. Tell me about how you plan to do this setup.
Well, it's really simple. Right now, this little setup that we're doing right now is a piggyback. Set up a little farm, might produce maybe a couple of coins a month. Price right now is about 25,000 US dollars a coin, because I looked up the price of it, the price that it was in November 2020. We pump a whole bunch of that money at the moment back into the equipment. And of course, paying back the initial investment that you got. We pump all of that money back. We pump a lot of that money back into the farm. Slowly but surely build it up. Build this place up along with it. Get the mining software installed on more computers. Maybe some piggybacking software as well, so that we might be able to mine off the call center computers. Once we get enough money, we take all of that software, we reinvest into real estate. We find a place to take all this stuff off this site and replace everything in here with new stuff. Help the business. Get us real estate capital, which we need. We need up more areas than just, what we've got in order to make stuff work.
Control the city.
Control a little slice of it at least. But we take a lot of this money and we do a lot of reinvesting. We build a portfolio. Mixture of real estate, cryptocurrency.
In stock
The more money
market,
we've
I'll have a few contacts.
Exactly, contacts in the stock market. We can do some investment there too. Basically collate everything into a coterie portfolio. And skim a little bit off the top for ourselves, of course. Considering that eventually, once this gets off the ground, we can use the capital to actually start a business. It would then be justification for all the extra money that we have coming in.
New business
Now-
would fall under a mask.
The business would fall under a mask. It simultaneously gives us what we need, gives back to the community so that you can continue to focus on your community projects, and builds a stronger, tougher mask. Because right now, that's what we need. More Torals to shreds like it was tissue paper.
That's because it was.
I would like to think it was a little more solid than that. For the most part, it was.
With the resources, we would be able to make a few other investments throughout the city. We could.
We would.
We could acquire private investigators. We could acquire police payouts.
Yeah.
Law
Yeah, we
enforcement
could.
that could get an eye out. More
We could.
specifically, Ray was
But-
very, very troubled with the idea that there were more. We still have one more individual that we know.
At least one. But on that lies the thing. We're not the people. It gives us contacts in the areas that regulars can't reach. But we're not the people. That's Maria's job.
We gotta give her the option to be people.
Yes. For the simple fact, I don't have a great understanding of what Maria is capable of. But from the things that I've seen, she can become anyone and anything given enough blood. And again, that's what this comes down to. These reinvestments aren't going to mean anything if we don't have blood. We need to secure food source. Now this will help with me. I normally feed off of bags and whatnot, and that's controlled by this.
Bags. What, like you go to
Yeah.
the blood donation center, or
More black market than that. Unfortunately, I had to do it because, well, O'Leary. O'Leary's no longer a problem, so I can use my knowledge to hunt down those who are less than credible, shall we say. You know, the criminals.
I suppose,
But- But it also gives us pull to start doing things in the underground, because that's the thing. With humans, money talks.
this is true.
And right now, the things that the money can give us: security, people, a mask, an investment portfolio for more money, contacts most likely with others of our kind who do similar things. I know that you know people, but I mean, I'm sure there are other big players in this city who'd love to get in on some investment portfolio.
Mm.
In fact, I know that you and Baron Batista are of the same kind.
This is accurate, right?
And If there's one thing that I know about Clan Ventrue, they best work when they stand together as a wall.
This is true, but there is also the issue of convincing Baron Batista that she could use a trust fund like
Well, that's the thing. If we've got it, it's better. If we've got it, it's better than not having it. B, because of the things going on in the city right now, if we invest wisely, it'll show that there is an initiative to protect the city, the barons, and their interests.
certain.
Because the thing is... Go ahead.
These are all factors I've considered. Go. I'm more than happy to work with you on this.
Well, I figure it like this. You're meant to be the man with the plan, Faust. And he's talking while he's probably typing up, getting the basics of the networking sorted. You know, making sure that all the computers are talking to each other and talking to the server properly. I'd put it to you like this. You're meant to be the man with the plan. Much like a king needs to be a leader. The one with the plan. But a king always has a left and a right hand. The left hand. The advisor. The one who puts the words into the king's ears to make him think in the first place. The one who also has his own ideas. To give the king perspective. And the one with the knowledge to correct mistakes such that things stay on the straight and narrow. And you have the right hand, the enforcer, the one who carries out the king's will, carries out his plan, the plan that he and his left hand crafted together. We need to be synchronized. I'm willing to put you on that seat, Faust. I think you can handle it. And I'd be more than happy to stand at your left hand.
Really? Well,
Yes, because there's a thing to be said about order.
don't stroke my ego too much there.
Oh
think-
no, not at all.
There's still a lot to be done before we can really be playing cards like that.
Oh yes, quite so.
I kind of want to roll insight on Noel. Because I want to get a read on where he's being with this. If there's like some disingenuity to it.
By all means.
He's sounding awfully cammy.
Yeah. Wolford talks about the cam, but he talks about it like that's lifetimes ago. he doesn't reminisce on it.
Go ahead and roll a wit's insight. Noel, are you hiding anything?
No.
Are you trying to... Sounds kind of like you're trying to manipulate Faust into a position of authority in this coterie. So make me a manipulation persuasion then.
If that's what you want, I can do it.
Do it. Yeah. He's talking very structured, very orderly for an anarch. Hierarchical for an anarch. And you definitely read that off his speech.
Yes, there is a very much a hierarchical basis in what he's saying, but there's no sense of anything disingenuous in what he's saying. Like he truly believes that, you know, hierarchies do get shit done, but hierarchies do get shit done, but in the same breath, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be subservient.
Well, it's an interesting viewpoint, Mr. Stone. I think considering our circumstances here and from where we stand is best served functioning as one unit together. I can't consider myself above the rest of you.
Oh no, that's... You see, therein lies the interesting thing about hierarchies, and it's one of the things that I do not like about the Camarilla. Those in the Camarilla believe that just because someone has a title and is above you in the hierarchy, that there is a required sense of subservience. That is something that I myself cannot stand. What I prefer is a hierarchy upon which that you being the leader, per se, i.e. the one who thinks of the plan and gives the orders to execute said plan, doesn't put you above us. In fact, we would remain absolutely equal. Think of it less like a pyramid and more like a conveyor line. The information comes in. I collate and analyze this information. I give you my analysis and you make the plan. And then, considering everything that's going on, and the fact that we are only 4 people, we all enact the plan together. Especially with an emphasis on Maria doing her part as the executor of the plan that we come up with. Everything is equally as important, and no one is above anyone else. Only through willful deference.
Then why portray it as a monarchy? Why not a democracy?
Because democracy is like counting snotty noses. There's a complex relationship between myself and democracy. It's not a matter of voting upon which is the best course of action. It is analysis, decision, execution. All equally important, none above the other. A king expects subservience. So I suppose my monarchy analogy is a little off. But no, I am thinking more like a machine hierarchy. That we have our roles that we do. And that each role is equally important to the machine as a whole.
Is philosophy often taught like this, Banu Hakim?
No, this is from my university days. No, the Banu Hakim are a lot more intuitive. They don't speak so much about the philosophy of subservience and deference, although we are taught to revere our elders, for they know much. And are more powerful. And given that as a matter of time and experience, you can look at that pragmatically and consider that a true enough point. No, the Banu Hakim's teachings focus more upon not only the understanding of the kindred condition, but in the end, notes of judgment. The notion of impartially passing judgment upon the transgressors of those of oneself, of the things that keep us the things that keep us away from the beast. When we were dealing with Moore, there was a transgression there. I could see it. Thoughtless violence and murder, as though he thought he was doing the right thing. Transgression of manners, professionalism. Because I knew that I saw that he got to you with that. The transgression of Maria's, I hate saying this, but ownership. The things that were hers. Destroyed. And you want to know what happened? When I cursed him, when I stood in the basement of that church, Maria nestled between those two dead bodies that she had removed from the wall. The only thing that I could feel in my head was, make him pay. He is transgressed. And the punishment should be that for taking so much from so many others, that everything should be taken from him, the very little that he had left. And Noel looks up straight into Faust's eyes, and there's a look of... It's a mixture of deep pain, but determination, down to his very soul. And he would have been deserving of it. Or at least, that's what the voice in my head says. He would have been deserving of every last moment before his very soul was consumed.
It wasn't for what our needs were. All transparency, I probably. I have to agree. At least in this scenario.
Here's the thing on that. Have you ever been taught about diablerie?
Faust, you would know it's the most taboo of all sins.
It's something terrible. To my understanding.
Then let me enlighten you a little. Dolls knows this from first-hand experience. Diablerie. The drinking of the amaranth. It is akin to cannibalism, but on steroids. I would like you to imagine something, Faust. A kindred drinking everything you are. Everything. Not just the blood, but the essence of your very soul.
My setter spoke of it once. Consumption of the spirit. To deny one what afterlife there could have. Afterlife. Beyond that, detestable act of could be accounted for monsters beyond monsters.
Yes. You are exactly correct. There is no separation between us and the beast in the case of diablerie. And even minus the cannibalism, even minus the drinking of a soul. All detestable things. Taboo beyond the wildest taboos. It's dangerous. Even you lose yourself. Irrevocably, you lose yourself. And of course, there's always the matter that you might bite off more than you can chew. I mean, you're talking about drinking somebody's soul. It's never as simple as finishing off the dregs in a Capri Sun.
No, I
Well,
don't think. What happens when you do?
Noel kind of knits his hands together. What I tell you doesn't leave this room. Am I understood?
Scout's honor.
Good. I will note that if it does, your life will be forfeit.
Understood.
We of the Banu Hakim have a particular problem with the tasting of kindred vitae. Much like what happens when we are absolutely starving and the beast takes over wanting food more than anything else. When a member of the Banu Hakim tastes kindred vitae, something that is the very essence of transgression, close to the cardinal sin against God. Sometimes, if you are not strong enough, the beast can take control. And when it does, we gorge. We gorge ourselves upon transgression, upon its very essence. And if one doesn't gain control of themselves, it can even be to the point of the amaranth, to the point of diablerie.
This is a part of your curse.
It is. Just as I'm sure you have your own things that you must abide by, as I'm sure Maria does, as I'm sure Ray does, as I'm sure every kindred in existence does.
Maybe it's a touchy topic, but this is something you've done.
Yes. Not on purpose. I didn't know at the time. I was very young. And I learned. I learned very quickly. It is why I will not allow you or Maria or Ray to do that. Even if you pass every one of the pitfalls that could occur through something so dangerous and violently taboo, it's a matter of the stain that it leaves on your very being. Those with the right senses can see it. But I think it might be now that you understand why I gave you my sword when I was taking stock of more. Just in case I lost control.
I do now.
And it's why when Ray mentioned in anger that she would eat you, I nearly told her that if she even thought about it, that I would kill her myself. You don't play around with such things. It's not worth the risk above everything else. To put it at its most pragmatic, taking the morality and the ethics out of it, it's simply not worth the risk.
It's very interesting. Well,
And
I suppose, considering need to keep you fed around us.
well, this will help. Means I can buy bags. And Noel will actually finish everything up. Everything's running.
All right.
Because once the initial setup is done, it can just be left to mine in the background.
Beautiful.
And Noel, after putting the main terminal, like logging off the main terminal, because everything will run in the background while it's logged off, scheduling and everything like that. Actually, they're remarkably simple to set up as far as the technical side of things goes. The only time it gets really difficult is when you start trying to put together like massive data centers full of mining computers and whatnot, and we're definitely not there yet. Noel turns to Faust and he knits his hands together again. I hope you know that I've got each of your best interests in mind, even if it doesn't seem it. I know Maria doesn't seem to think so. What with everything with Carnage? I know Ray doesn't seem to think so. What with everything with, well, her being exceptionally protective of Maria and all that. And the issues that we had earlier on in our time together. When the beast got the better of me and I accidentally put a massive gash in Maria's chest.
Well, I mean, I'd almost argue it's easier to predict if the person stabbing you is stabbing you front as opposed to the back.
Well, I'm not a liar. I actually abhor lying. I will lie as much as it is truly necessary to protect myself and the masquerade. But beyond that, if I'm being frank with you, I'm not really worth a pinch of shit at it. But I'm one of those people who won't ever stab you from behind. If there's a problem, I'll tell you there's a problem, and if we're really at that point, I would prefer to stab you in the face until your face stops resembling a face rather than stab you in the back.
I'm sure it's an easy said statement.
It's
Easily
easier
done.
to it's easy to say, harder to mean. But, you know, it does bring up a question. Are you okay?
can't help but get the idea, feeling, eventually. Everything that transpired is going to come back to us.
Oh, fast. Mr. Pupit, you have no idea. Karma's a bitch like that.
Oh, I have several ideas, and that's the...
Yeah.
But
There's not a lot of point in thinking about it. As far as what happened, we did what we had to do and paid the price for it. No good deed goes unpunished. And well, we just had to take the brunt of the punishment. I mean, especially you. Because I figure it wasn't easy to convert more into one of the damned. It's a necessary thing, sure. But I know it wasn't an easy thing.
frankly, at this point, I think we've sacrificed too much.
We have.
Moving forward, I'm going to ensure that we have the safety net. So, nothing like this happens again. We're good at escalating things. I'd like to keep things de-escalated moving forward. I was not a fan of that.
I can understand that, but I think the one still running around may not give us that option. I think the better way to look at it is this. And Noel walks over and clasps Faust on the shoulder in a friendly gesture. If we have to sacrifice again, someone will be paying for it. Something that I was taught a long time ago, back when it wasn't just myself and my sire as the only Banu Hakim in my vicinity. The children of Hakim very easily know how to pick their targets. And come hell or high water, they always get their targets. Come on, everything's set up. I set up the wallet and everything, along with some notifications and whatnot, so we'll know when the coins start depositing into the account. Don't expect anything too much in this first month. We're probably only going to make 2 or maybe 3. But given the conversion rate, it's more than enough.
It's more than what we had to start with.
Yeah.
I'd like to not be the only person with capital in now. My wallet can't handle it.
You would be both. You would be both. I would like to have more money than the... He kind of pops out his wallet, opens it.
$27.
$20? Yeah, $20.
Oh, buddy.
I know.
Ooh, that's barely enough to get you a stripper. Alright.
I don't know why I'd want one, but sure. Yeah, let's... Come on, let's get out of here.
And thus, the two of you have set up your little coin operation in which you will see the fruits over the course of time. And later on in the week, Noel, you're visiting with your sire, going over the last dregs of this ritual that she's been teaching you.
Yes, this will probably be the final bit of the ward against ghouls.
It's been arduous. It's been taxing. It's been tough. It's been a tough one to learn. You're picking up on it, but in order for it to go off without a hitch, you're thinking you might need some additional practice actually putting it into practice rather than just learning the sigils.
Yeah. That is an unsurprising thing, but that's all right. I was expecting this. I was expecting that it would require, actual practice and everything, but that's fine. I need to know the theory before I can practice. And I need to know the basics of the practice before I can start employing it as a proper application of my skills.
Does it start to make sense to you now?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the ideas, the adiabatic texts, the sigils, their sequencing, and the way that they come together to create the ward. The only thing that lacks is intuitive understanding, but that comes with practice.
Yes, it's a finicky thing. Knowing the sigils is not enough.
I found that when I was learning the basics of the identification ritual. Learning the other intuitive things that I have learned over the past few years.
You're doing remarkably well, though. You're a faster learner than me. I give you credit for that.
But fast learning does not fast understanding make.
That's entirely true. So, have things started to settle down any?
Yeah. Things aren't so wound up, although the loss is still very profoundly felt.
Understandably so.
In fact, I was talking to Faust about it just the other day.
Oh.
Just how badly, at least in my mind, just how much more had done. I gave him insight into the things that he couldn't see.
Interesting.
And I think he came out better for it.
Good. You have been keeping an eye on him, yes?
Of course.
Learned anything new?
Yes, actually. Faust has been showing a lot of behaviors that very much give off a non-Camarilla vibe to me, at least.
And what vibes would those be?
For starters, when he and I were talking about what happened, we got onto the talking of hierarchy. In order to make things run smoothly in the coterie. But there is a distinct lack of desire from Mr. Buford to be above anyone else.
Oh, no, that is a facade. Every
You
venture.
see, I thought that.
Every
I
venture.
thought that. Yes, they have this innate compulsion to rule. There is a reason why they call them the Clan of Kings. Besides the fact that historically quite a number of them have been kings and other nobility. But the thing about it is this. Faust is in no rush to take the position of ruler. In fact, he has no major desire for it. It is more, I feel, how do I put this? He gives me the same feeling that the thought of Baron Batista does.
Baron Batista.
Minus the fact that Baron Batista, being obviously older, has quite a large amount more experience. He
Baron
has
Batista.
no desire to...
Baron
Oops, sorry.
Batista claims to be a mediator amongst her people, but she still sits high on her tower.
Well, we cannot deny ourselves our natures, after all. But it is less that Faust has a desire to rule through an iron fist, a desire to rule through any means, really, but more that he wishes to become like a bedrock, like a foundation.
I see.
That when everything else fails and there is nothing left, that he is the man with the plan. That he is the one who wishes to step in to make sure that things don't completely fall apart. He wishes to be trusted through reliance, through reliability, rather than build himself up to be above or greater. I saw this very clearly with the way that he was speaking to Agent Moore.
That is the one that Jameson executed, yes?
I don't know if he's dead. Jameson might still be interrogating him, slowly, painfully.
That is the word
In
on
fact,
the streets.
if the word on the street is that he executed him, then there is a chance that he is dead.
You do not trust
If
Jameson to be a man of his word.
no, no, it's more I do not trust more to crack. Even under Jameson's ministrations, it may be easier to get the heat off and say that he's dead so that Jameson can work on him in peace.
It's an interesting
So that-
theory.
Because that is the thing with being in the position of Baron, but also being as honest as we can be. There are times where, to remain honest in the future, one must lie. And, quite frankly, I hope that Moore is not dead.
And why do you hope this? He is a nuisance. Or was a nuisance.
Oh, no, he is. I wish many things upon that man, Alia. But it is less a matter of he doesn't deserve to die, and more a matter of he is not deserving of a quick death. No, personally, I hope that he is still alive so that he may still be suffering.
How
It
vindictive
is.
of you.
It is. I cannot deny any part of that. But
It's a curious thing, isn't it? Being a judge. Sometimes it brings the worst out in you, doesn't it?
and Noel nods wordlessly. I looked at him. I saw everything that he was doing. The things that he was saying to Faust and how it was getting to him. If nothing else, Faust tries his best to be a gentleman. That manners matter to him. Professionalism matters to him. And I can appreciate that from myself who also holds professionalism in a high regard. I saw Maria, the things that she had whilst grotesque, things that she had taken as hers. The other two, O'Leary and Yamashita.
Wasn't O'Leary the one giving you trouble?
Turns out, because of everything that happened in Houston with the Hand of Vengeance, she wanted vengeance. So she buddied up with Moore.
How ironic.
But however grotesque it was, they were people that Maria had claimed as hers. Something that those of clans in BC or at least I've seen from Maria, tend to do. Same thing with Clan Gangrel. They think in pack mentality. I am the alpha, and these are my people, and they don't get touched.
Very territorial, the Gangrel.
The Zamisi also, to a terrifying extent. Or at least, again, that's what I have observed from Maria.
You've lived with her now for a month?
Well, it is why she was so angry with me when we went hunting. I didn't know until after it had happened that I had fed on someone that she considered to be hers.
You owe that woman a lot.
I do, and we're working it out.
Good. That's good
Well,
to hear.
We're rebuilding that bridge slowly but surely.
Good.
But I saw that he had taken things that she had called hers from her out of some twisted sense of patriotism, out of some twisted sense of morality, of righteousness, that he thought that he was doing the right thing.
Maybe he was.
In some ways, yes.
Can you
In
blame a man
others,
for sticking to his convictions?
I cannot blame a man for sticking to his convictions, but I can blame a man for transgressing so many others. But of course, he never saw any of us as people.
Maybe he's right. But maybe he's not.
Either way, in that moment, as I stood there in the basement, Maria nestled between the two bodies that had been diffused from each other and from the wall. You didn't get to see that, and that was for the best.
I'm glad I did not. That's frightening.
As Maria lamented her loss, truly lamented her loss. Because I saw that when we talked afterwards, she had plans to eventually let the two go. I don't know when or how, but she didn't plan on keeping them in that horrid state forever. And as noble a thought as one could muster given the circumstances, but I saw that. I saw even Ray get a little upset. Not a lot, but a little. That Maria was so hurt over the things that he did. He didn't even have proper fangs, Alia. Baby teeth, like a human. And he bit them to death. Wasn't so much the bites as it was the exsanguination that killed the two. And in my mind, the only thing that I could feel was this voice screaming in my head to make him pay. It's that voice that it threatened to consume my entire being for just a moment.
The beast is a strange thing in that way.
It is. And it is why you heard that outburst of mine. I didn't lose control. Not completely, anyway. I was still of a sound mind. If I wasn't...
If you weren't, I don't think I
well,
would have heard a curse coming from you.
no, you wouldn't have. But
Are you going to be alright, my child?
I will be. And if I'm being honest, I suppose that's a thing. Faust is helping with that. With his desire to be the reliable one, to make the safety nets. He wants to make sure that we never go through something like that again. And I want to help him. Even in the end, if it's for duplicitous means, because, well, it's a thing that I found.
If it protects you, then it is worth it, I suppose.
Oh, it's more a matter of there's no point in attempting to keep a higher power happy. Because whatever god one believed in before they are given our condition, well, they don't care anymore.
I wouldn't say that.
They don't. It is a reason why they are called the damned. It's the reason why we are called the damned. But in that, it is not something that sits content with me to simply rue the fact that, say, if you were a devout Christian or Jew or
Muslim in
Muslim.
my case.
Muslim even, it is not a thing to be content with being upset that the power that you worship does not care about you any longer. It is better to continue to do the right thing anyway, so that you can have a life that you can be proud of, regardless of the fact if that a higher power doesn't, because of the nature that you have taken on by virtue of being embraced.
It's a very
Because
interesting
in
way
the
of thinking
end-
about it.
Because in the end,
But you've never
when
been the
God
religious
has
sort.
Well, yes and no. I'm not a religious sort.
You're practical.
I consider myself to be more of a spiritualist, really. Higher powers exist.
We are
The
proof.
gods in the myriad shapes and form. Well, we are proof. If the creation myth is to be believed, we are living proof, or unliving proof, as it were. But with the gods and all the myriad shapes and forms that they take, turn their backs on us. When their dark reflections in all the shapes and forms that they take wish to take hold of us. Because I know the way that many think. You know, Cain, Lilith, Set, among many others. I feel that the only thing that you can rely on that will bring you happiness is the thought that the actions that you do are for a cause that you believe in, and that build a project out of the eternal existence that you have been given, that when it ends, because it eventually will, that you've lived an existence that you can be proud of. And if you're so inclined, lived an existence that others can be proud of.
And what do you believe in then? Going forward with this cause?
I believe that Maria's adherence to her religion, and yours as well, are noble things. You don't, or at least I figure that You don't do them out of any thought of anything in return. You do them because you truly believe in the precepts written by their prophets to try and exist better. To be better than the beast. Discipline, self-control, compassion.
I would definitely say it's helpful.
You know. Exactly. It's why I can't judge you. I couldn't ever judge you for the beliefs that you hold on those sorts of things.
I would hope not.
Of course I wouldn't anyway, but it is just one of the many reasons why I couldn't ever, because of the simple fact that it should not be done because you believe, because you are trying to get back in the good books of a higher power that has turned its back on you. You should do it because you believe it'll help you to become a better being. That it is one's own self-improvement and self-actualization that will make an existence prolonged, bearable in the face of the dark things that we have to do. That maybe that we can give back to the race that we take from. We drink from humans because we must. Some decide to drink from animals, others decide to drink from other kindred. But we drink blood. The life force of the animating force of every creature on this earth, every living thing on this earth, even plants, have their own blood, in a sense. Although I wouldn't try going and getting any sustenance from treacle or tree sap.
I don't think anyone's tried that before. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe they have. That would be an ancient
Well,
story then.
There are no new ideas under the sun or under the moon. But no. I believe that self-actualization through whatever course that may take, whether it be adherence to a dogma or religious beliefs, is how we give back to ourselves and exist to be our best. Well, exist to be our best. That even though we are unliving, that we are, at the very core, we are monsters. Parasites who feed off of humans.
Yes, we are.
But we can be so much more than that. And I think that's something that Moore never got, that he never thought that we could be more than just monsters.
And like I said, maybe he's right, maybe he's not.
Oh, he is right in that we are monsters. The beast in our heads, the things that it makes us do when we get hungry, the things that we have to do to stop it from doing such things.
But anything
Yes.
more than that? Are we truly?
Anything more than that, we are no more monstrous than any human. For all the bad we do, there is a lot of good. And for all the good we do, there is a lot of bad. It is just simply that
Existence
we
is
are by
contradictory.
I don't consider it to be contradictory. I just consider it to be nuanced.
I suppose it is.
To that end, though, after I have finished learning these wards, there are some other things that I want to learn.
In due time.
Specifically... Specifically, I wish to learn some of our traditional rituals.
And I would love to teach you. But you must understand that you must first master the things you already know and improve upon yourself and improve your living situation to a point where it's not going to be costly for you to do such things.
And he nods. Well, I can say that I've put concerted effort into working on that over the past few days.
Good. Continue to do that effort and I might consider it.
Of course.
Because I would love to teach you. You are my
Yes, but
child.
it does not bode enough to be strong. You must also be clever. It does not bode enough to be deserving. You must be worthy.
And one must not reveal their entire hand.
Of course. We kindred thrive on secrets.
Because if there's anything that I have learned about you, Khalid, is that you tend to be a little reckless.
If our dealing with more O'Leary and Yamashita was any indication,
The fact that the Hand of Vengeance came looking for you, for us, because of you.
They wanted secrets back and I was the weak link.
They wanted me.
Yes, and I was simply the pin that they were going to use to try and do that. For the simple fact that I was young.
Because you were linked to me. Because you were valued by me. Because I truly do love you, Khalid. You are like a son to me.
And he nods sagely. I know. I appreciate every last bit of love that you have given me. Even if it is not ever outwardly stated as much as maybe it should be. But in that moment, when they came for us, I was the weak link. Not again. Never again. Not for you. Not for my coterie.
Be the roots that dig deep. Then maybe I will teach you something a little more traditional.
Understood? I think I have some ideas on how I might even do that.
I look forward to it. Because who knows, maybe one day you and I will be adversaries.
Truly, I would hope not.
I would hope not as well. I don't intend on suffering your ire.
Or I yours.
But we all know that we tend to be judgmental, if anything. Hold grudges. It is kind of the way of our kind.
That it is.
For all I know, for withholding secrets, you could be holding a grudge on me.
No. I could not hold a grudge against the one who opened my eyes. I mean, one could consider, it not being worth what was lost. But I learned from a very young age that there's actually very little difference between humans and kindred. Really. We are both a monstrous. Kindred just have the niceties of being more overt about it.
Do you call it niceties? I would sooner call them darker impulses.
Well,
How do they say? Cranked up to 11?
yes, cranked up to 11. But it is what we are. Just humans. The darker impulses of humans cranked up to 11. And with the power that we wield, even some of the better traits can be cranked up further. It's all on perspective.
I suppose so.
Which is why I put it as I did. That the kindred and kind are the same, simply that kindred are more overt. Because when one looks at a member of the kind, you can't help but stop and think, especially if they are on the darker side of things, what is going through their mind. Kindred, at the very least, you could have the thought of, well, maybe they'll eat me. It's a morbid way of looking at things, definitely.
You are certainly entertaining. Morbidly entertaining.
Our very existence is morbid. The world is morbid. If you don't laugh, you'll most likely cry. And, well, there's no use crying. As someone who I met in my university days told me, there's no use crying. Don't cry for the stupid, you'll be crying all day. And it's the same thing here. Don't cry for the morbid, you'll be crying all day. Best
That's a
to
very good
laugh,
point.
learn the lessons, and use them to your advantage to be better. Because that is what we should be. Always better. Because if we are, well then, maybe we just give ourselves just that tiniest leg up on the fight against ourselves.
Seems I have taught you well then.
I would like to think so.
Well, had enough philosophy and studying for one day, I think.
Yes. It can be quite mentally taxing.
I look forward to any successes that you might have putting a ward on something. How
Yes,
well
I'm
that
gonna
goes?
try it. I will let you know.
Good. Do you all intend to get back together and have a conversation, or is this the end of tonight's session?
I mean, we could at the chapel
Okay.
if everyone's down for that.
I'd be down.
I do have work tomorrow, so I should probably be cutting it. But if you want to continue, please
You
do.
want to know what? If you got work tomorrow, I understand. We'll cut it here.
Okay. Then that does it for episode 15 of San Antonio by Night. The end of season 1. And thank you, Maddie, so much for the raid. We're just going to be wrapping up here. Hello.
Oh damn, it's a big raid. Hello everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry that you all are coming in to us more or less closing out the session. But hi, everybody. Yes, we are...
Comparing the amaranth to squeezing the dregs out of a Capri Sun. A very meaty Capri Sun.
Meaty Capri Sun. Yes. But yes. Thank you all so much for joining us. For everything. But yeah. And so yeah. Everybody, since this was more of an epilogue session, we didn't really do much in the way of moving any kind of plot or anything. That's going to come up next session. We're going to skip XP. The start of the new season, you all will be at full willpower, full health, and at hunger 1, so that you can start the season fresh. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us for this lovely episode of San Antonio by Night. We will be starting season 2 next Wednesday, called The Hunt. Because our characters intend to go hunting for a legend, and something else might be trying to hunt them. We'll find out as the story progresses next week. But yeah, we can end the session on some shout-outs. So, Spectre, my lovely friend, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Hello, I am Spectre Deflector. I am a local community illustrator and tabletop role player. You can find me Monday nights on Brisbane by Night and Wednesday nights on right here with San Antonio. Brisbane is hosted by Gathering of Nerds, and Lethality is our ST for that.
Ah, yes. Our lovely storyteller Lethality Complex from the Gathering of Nerds give us an idea of where to find you and what it is that you do.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Lethality Complex, and when I'm not comparing taboo cannibalism to drinking Capri Sun or speaking philosophy, you can find me over at the Gathering of Nerds, where I, as has been said, run Brisbane by Night River City Secrets as the ST. We also run a multiplayer game stream on Tuesday nights. Well, Tuesday nights, Wednesday mornings. We run a Minecraft stream after Brisbane on Monday evenings, where Derek and Spectre play absolutely wonderful characters as we begin to hit the final stretch, the final of the final stretch. And we also have on Thursday evenings The Gathering Presents, where I, being a presenter, run short forms of different games. And currently we will have episode 3 rather, of Wrath and Glory Hell of the Lost for you 40k fans out there, as well as a new game popping up, which will take us back into the world of darkness, but in the shoes of some very different creatures. finally, I also personally happen to be a player in Macabre Derek's Detroit by Night Overhaul, which has been absolutely amazing, to say the least. So, segue.
Yes, our good storyteller, Macabre Derek. Tell us about what you do and where to find you.
Hello, everybody. As earlier mentioned, my name is Macabre Derek. I am primarily a horror illustrator when it comes down to Twitch, but I also end up doing Detroit by Night Overhaul. You find that every Sunday at 7:30 Central Standard. Anytime between 6 and 7, you'll end up catching me on stream on Mondays through Thursdays as well. Besides, also doing a lot of illustrations. I know we got a lot of Raiders and Maddie channel coming in, so you might have seen some of our work that I've done for them. Well, I also end up streaming on Mondays a Vampire the Masquerade workshop. For those of you who are curious about the world of darkness, I invite you to come in and join us in the night, where we end up explaining the clans, the various factions, and the psychology and the impulses that drive monsters into the dark. I welcome you to something a little bit more depraved and twisted. Never mind the body in the corner. That's for cleanup later. You and me have plenty of time to talk.
Yes, thank you so much to my lovely cast members for all that they do for this lovely little show. I appreciate all of you. And sadly, Moxie who plays Ohore, did have to dip out because congratulations to her on getting a job, but time conflicts means that she does have to bow out. So sadly, she will not be joining us as Ray. Instead, Ray will be working as an NPC in the background for the coterie. But that does mean that there is an open casting call for anyone interested in joining this little vampire game. Shoot me a DM on Discord. I just posted the Discord there. If you would like to join us, please send me a PM and we will see about doing a bit of an interview and see if you would be a fit for this show. So, in the meantime, for all of you who would like to know more about the Alamo City, you can definitely check us out on YouTube as well in order to catch up on some of the lovely things that have gone on in the past for all of Season 1 and all of Chronicle 1. So...
Oh yes, Chronicle 1.
because I have a very strong feeling that our cast members are going to be meeting their previous selves. So... stay tuned for that, everybody. But from all...
the wrath of Urian Doyle.
And the hordes of Satan.
And Benji.
He's a horror too.
Yeah, he is.
We love all of our cast members. Thank you guys so much. And if you missed anything or you want to do more and look for more of my stuff, you can always check it out on CoffeeCatPresents.com and do all of the follows on socials and all of that other stuff. But for now, we will be signing off. Thank you so much for all of Season 1 of San Antonio by Night Aftermath. And until next week, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Nobody gets out of the shark pit alive.
We're gonna go hunt for an urban legend. Have fun!